And welcome. I should play a little song. I need a jingle. I do need a jingle. Professor Hedy, if you're out there, he's a good jingle maker. Back here with you after hours, and we're going to do a little market talk, a little market education. Today we're going to focus on IPOs and different trading strategies on them. One particular is the gap up strategy, and also just how to research them. Some good sites that you could follow, and some, just general knowledge about them. And then, of course, we'll go over the market and anything else that we see fit to go over and have a good time tonight. So welcome to Day Trading Radio. I'm DayTraderRockStar, in case you didn't know. Maybe you're listening for the first time and you're checking out the show. I broadcast every day live on the radio from 8:30 in the morning. That is, it's 8:30 at night now, but 8:30 in the morning till 4 o'clock in the morning. I take 2 hours break. Now 8:30 in the morning to close, and then I try to get these after-hour shows going. If I can, I stretch it. I have a family and stuff, so I can't abuse that. But I'd like to get in here and do these after-hour shows, because a lot of times people who have a big want to learn to trade, but might have a day job and they're just not around during the day to get all that great information live. So these shows at night are important for those aspiring traders who dream one day to cut loose of their jobs and become full-time traders. These shows are perfect for you. So I hope you out there and you get to. I hope it motivates you. Yeah. Hope it motivates you. These used to be one of our biggest shows. I mean, back in the day in 2010, 11, 12, I did a lot of shows overnight. We had a full car. We had Wednesdays with Disco Riviera. No, I mean, won't mention all the shows, but Tech Talk Live, Trader Spotlight. We had a lot of special shows, and I've been trying to get those shows back on. I'm the one pretty much doing them, but hopefully down the road we'll do some more after-hour shows. So let's move on. Let's say here today is was an great day. Let's start off just taking a look at the overall markets, because we now are traders, and that's what I like to do, is just get a good feel for the market. Now, beginning of this week, I pretty much went out there and said, hey, this is something that I teach. It's called the 2020 trade. It's a trade that we trade individual stocks on. It's a standardized flag setup, and we could gain an advantage because we're using the stochastic oscillator as our underlying indicator. It works perfect with this because of all the years I've worked on this. There is a correlation between how fast, the stochastics and the price level. And if you could read into that, and pretty much it's a visual read, the rotation down to overbought to oversold brings the candlestick down to the lower part of that candle, and then it tends to bounce. But when those prices hold up and don't break down technically, everything is a buy. And this has been going on with this market for as long as we could remember. A lot of people don't know, haven't experienced any severe corrections. Well, you know what? 2016 we had that little flash crash, right? Was it 2000? What was that? 2018. Actually, it was this year. Jesus. As a trader, just one day morphs into the next. That was the whatever happened there, the VIX crash there. But again, market here has a reason to move higher. The market is the overall indicator. If the market's doing good, it's an indicator species. If the market's doing good, most likely the economy is doing good. And this is telling us that everything is working good, and I can't see that ending anytime soon. I mean, we could guess, we could all come up with our own theories and stuff, but as long as this is happening and we get this rotation pull back, easy rotation, looks like the machine's turned back on, they buy it up, it's actually shown good relative strength. There's even more strength. It pushes. It has a hard time even breaking down, and when it does break down, it doesn't make a full rotation, and that price continues to hold that 20. That's just a sign of strength. And if you set up exactly the same way, again, it just makes sense to make that call higher, because you're betting against history. You know, what has changed at this point? Nothing. So I know, I've tried to call a top before and say, wow, this is really extended. I want to take a couple head shorts here and try to catch it. We sometimes do well doing that, but with the stochastics the way they were on that pullback, we had a lot of momentum shifting into this, and we still have a lot of momentum shifting higher. And that looks like it has, just a nice run. Doesn't mean that we can't pull back tomorrow. Can't pull back and it can't fail. It can't. Eventually things do fail and roll over. But as this continues to look good, like I said, I think the election, the midterm elections, and then they have the next presidential election. I hate to, not even to get political, it's obvious that the man behind the wheel right here, Donald Trump, is a market guy. He's going to take credit for all this, and as long as the market goes higher, and that bodes well for everyone. It should, it really should. Some people maybe not, I don't know, but overall, when the market's great and everyone's cash flush, you're spending money, everything, it just kind of trickles down into everyone's pocket. So I see this continuing. I see this continuing during his his run, unless powers that be come after him and cause a distraction to the market, and the market doesn't like that, and the market will react to that. But and that's the musical chair portion of this. There's eventually going to be some news. I don't know what it is. It could be tariff news. It could be news. It could be anything. It could be indictments. It can, who knows? I don't know. And that would disrupt that's going on. So, what else are we going to say about this? Looks great. Looks great. Looking at the markets right now, markets here holding steady. No reason to be selling. Everything looks great. So let's see here. So that's our market radar. That's what we call a radar section of the thing. And technically speaking, when we break that time frame down to, those faster traders, there's those people maybe are good at swing trading, saying, "Oh yeah, this is oversold. I don't trade that often, but this is the time I should probably pick up some, SPY, whatever, or some ETFs that track the S&P on a rotation down, like a pullback." These are the swing traders. They're not trading every day. Can't watch the market. These are the signals I would take. And then you have the faster traders. Maybe you have the traders that could trade on a tighter time frame, could take advantage of the 60-minute time frame. And then those rules tend to apply also. You get the oversold bounces, the pullbacks and stuff. And we still measure all that stuff out. So we're, at this point on the 60, yeah, we're extended, definitely. If we pop up, that's eventually the market doesn't go straight up. It stair steps up, pull back, pop, pull back. Maybe it pops tomorrow and pulls back. Can't read into the 60 too much tonight. I like the 5-minute though. It's where the day traders like to hang out. All right, you had a beautiful divergence back here, beautiful pop to the highs. It chopped around most of the day, but overall there was a good setup there, and I think the Tradeometer really played a big part today. If I go back to the Tradeometer, it actually, I don't know if I can zoom out. Yeah, if you look during, I'm going to go out to take a look at the ES over here on the left-hand side. During the market day, and I can't zoom in there, can I? Oh yeah, I can. During the market day from 9:30, it was pretty much spot on. Meaning the red dots are a sell signal, green dots are a go long signal. These are not buy to sell, sell to buy, short to cover, buy. You could do that, But technically, these areas are individual trades, and areas to trade. And from that point on, from your entry zones, you should manage it by using your time frame, stochastic rotation, or any other indicators that you're using to time it. Really, looking at multiple time frames, see where you are in a 1 minute, bounce here. If the 5 minutes in your favor, you want to hold this longer. If the 5 minutes may be extended, maybe you don't want to hold it that long. You just want to see if you get a little out of it. But you have to read into it, and you'll feel that. You'll feel the groove of the stochastics. You'll start to feel that. So let's go back to that other screen. Actually, you didn't see that screen. You didn't see it on the... well, did you? No, you didn't see it on... You saw it on the show, but you didn't see it on the recording. I apologize. I don't have that set up properly. All right, so next part here, we talked about the time frames, everything looking pretty good. We're going to look at a couple trades for tomorrow. All right, just a couple trades for tomorrow. Love the IBM still. We started to get the pop, and it closed on the highs, and it started to break out. And this was a pain in the butt for a while, because it took a while, and the premium got sucked out of the options, and finally getting that pop, and we should get some follow through. As you see, there's a pretty decent space here, and I actually like this for a long, but I don't want to, get, it's actually breaking out. So I'd say this has a better shot of moving. And I have sometimes a bad habit of getting two candles, starting to make profits and taking off, where the reality is the channel has been broken, the trend has started, and this is maybe the possibility of a much bigger move all the way back up to 152. It's 148. Yeah. So that looks good for tomorrow. IBM. I mean, we rocked it. The other day we took the outro off on the spike. We're all out of it, pulled back. I know why that spiked, because of the electronic cigarettes. The FDA came out saying they're gonna really clamp down on the electronic cigarettes, because they're too available to children, and make it too appetizing for kids with the flavored nicotine and stuff, and they're seeing a big problem with it. And that makes sense, I could definitely see that. So, that pushes people back into tobacco products, and it was a little relief rally, and we took it all off. I mean, I'm glad to get out of that. Again, it was a good trade. It's actually a little divergence here, so out of that. The BABA, if any Chinese news comes out, that will continue to push higher. It did kind of flush through that lower trend line. It gapped up. It's maybe get another gap tomorrow. But the thing we really want to talk about tonight is IPOs. And there's one IPO we got into today, and I'm watching in the chat room the whole day, seeing people talk about it. And I think I tried to bring it up once, and I couldn't bring it up because my TC2000 doesn't really show current IPOs. It gave me this other symbol. Anyway, so I put it in my real-time charts, using my IB charts and stuff, and data. And here it is. So at that point, it's trading at, God, 11. Well, look at this thing. Hold on, let's zoom out. At that point, it was probably trading 11 and change. All right, but look at where it's come from. So it went IPO, I believe, yesterday, and it grounded up, and today it just ran. And I missed the majority of the move, and there was a lot of traders got this. They got it. Thank God you guys were on top of this. I got in really late, but with that being said, trading the IPOs a lot. I could spot a nice IPO that's going to run after hours and continue to, and most likely gap up tomorrow. So seeing that potential going into the last hour and being able to get in, I wasn't too worried about it. I said, this thing's, and it's a real company. It really has a website. It's a Chinese company, and we kind of shy away from those unless it's Baba and buy, only the big ones. So this is an IPO, and I didn't keep up with it. And we were doing so well keeping up with the IPO. So I figured tonight we're going to go over IPOs and where to find the ones, and let's correct that problem. Right now in this one, and like I said earlier today when I was on the air, I put an order in to sell 300 shares tomorrow at 17 pre-market open, good to cancel order to execute after, during outside of market hours, just in case it gaps up that far and I'm not up. I don't think but this thing should gap up tomorrow, and I think you should, if you're in it, you should be up with it, and take advantage of the gap up. Honestly, these things could go, I don't know how far it's going to go, but the opportunity is really from watching the close and seeing the close on the highs and watching the after hours, and then tomorrow, that's the big trade. So how do we find these? How do you find these? How do you profit from them? This happens to be electric car maker. And I went into scramble mode once I got into it. I was screaming at everyone in the room, give me some information on this. Deep Throat got in the thing, he's cursing at me. Why didn't you tell me about this earlier? And I'm like, I wasn't prepared for it. I felt like I let him down. I was like, oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I did tell him I got in it, and I told him, I said, you don't have to get into our 100,000 shares. Just get into 1,000 shares. Get a point on this. He would have had 2 points by now. All right, so easy enough to know when IPOs are. Let's go over a couple sites. Let's go over a couple different sites that show IPOs. And if you're in the chat room and you have a special IPO site that you want to share, or you want to send one in, send it to DTRS at DayTraderRadio.com. I'll check it in 5 minutes. If you have a good IPO chart, calendar, you want to share with people, send it to me and I'll share it. So I'll go through my process, but there's people out there that are that have much better information on IPOs. But if you want to plan those out. This one was a sneaky one. I should have been on top of this one. Should have been on top of it. I mean, we're going to make money on it. Well, something horrible happens in the morning. But boy, this was a sweet one. I understand why Deep Throat was mad at me. All right, so let's go to a couple sites here. I did a YouTube video back in July maybe. Posted June 20th, 2018. So if you go to my YouTube, DayTraderRockStar YouTube channel, you'll see a good video there on again, DayTraderRockStar on YouTube, and then how to find IPOs to trade. Now I already did a video on this. This is the second video we're doing, and so I'm gonna just use this window.
Tradeometer NQ overbought.
That's the Tradeometer NQ overbought here. So the NQ is actually moving up towards the highs of the session. This is interesting. The market might follow up here. To kind of get an early jump on IPOs and really just get down, I go to what's called Retail Roadshow. Every IPO goes on a roadshow to get attract buyers for their IPO. It's just like going and promoting a movie. You know, it's promoting the movie. You go to different things. You do presentations and stuff. So this is called retailroadshow.com, and basically, it breaks down all the IPOs and their reports, their IPOs. Let's see here, the presentations, basically their IPO presentations and current shows. So this, I think, pretty much goes in chronological order. So these are the new IPOs coming up on this. If you go on the screen, so what you do is, and again, these are in a roadshow. Now I haven't broken down this site too much. This was passed on to me from one of the members. But it gives. This is a really good one. This is a really good one because it really breaks down. It gives you a great presentation. It really is the basic presentation of the stock or whatever it is. So if you need information on something, this is where you see the presentation. So I confirm. I have I confirm everything, and then it gives you a nice video. Usually, you're viewing ahead of whatever this is, prospectus. Let's see if we can hear it. I don't know if we can hear it. Oh, I don't know. I can't hear it. There we are.
I want to start from introducing ourselves first. To my left is Dr. Gang Yu, who has been my partner for the last 11 years.
So they give you this.
He himself is
pretty
a
good.
serial entrepreneur and a senior supply chain expert globally. So Dr. Gang Yu started his first business in the United States many years ago. His first company was named Immi Technologies. Even today, majority of the U.S. airlines are still using his software. That company was acquired by Accenture, and then he moved on to Amazon.
I mean, you could actually go through this whole thing and really learn a lot about it.
And then he was approached by Dell to run Dell's global procurement in Asia.
This might be a good IPO, by the way. So let's look into this a little bit more. This is one that's called a retail investor. Retail investor. I'll post it in the chat room. But that has tremendous information because it shows their whole presentation, the financials, everything that they put out on the roadshow. I mean, it's basically everything. That's one IPO, and let's take a look what else we could see from that. I have to actually look at it myself. Like I said, there's so many different aspects of the market that we need to concentrate on. Sometimes I want to even increase my let me trying to fix this here. My response time to these stocks and being on top of them. Because if you have a good one and you're on top of it, then man, you can make like INO or NIO. I mean, Jesus, this was a huge move.
Hello. Thank you.
All right, so let's take a look. It has the underwriters, J.P. Morgan, Citigroup. You can't beat that. The offering of the expected to price is about September 14th. Now, did this already come, IPO? It might have. I don't know. September 14th. It is... Oh, that's tomorrow. Holy crap. That's tomorrow. So we might have one for tomorrow. All right. I mean, these guys look smart. And I'm not saying that to be, being just like looking at that guy and they're Asian, they look smart. No. I like the presentation. I like the underwriters. I like this guy's old businesses, working for Dell, doing all these things. So I just have to look into it a little bit more and understand what they're going to do. So again, we looked at that 111, and then we have another one. What is this one? Bank 7. I'm just looking at them. right now, I do remember the Maritime Container Corporation. That one's the shipping containers. I believe they're coming out tomorrow too. Well, what's the characteristics of one of these IPOs that really go? Well, they have to be in a clique that's very very has a lot of growth potential. Electric cars in China, that just seems like a home run, right? And they actually sold some cars, and they actually have some cars, and they have some models, so it's a legitimate business. That one is very interesting. That's what we're in now. But looking at these other ones, this is basically, again, go right down the line. We'll go to this one right here, the Maritime Containers, just to kind of look at it again. You see up here it says offering expected to go price on September 14th. I remember seeing this one too. So that's, oh, wait. That doesn't look like the same. That looks like the same one. Why is that? Let's see here. There it is. Sorry. For some reason, it really opens up really big on my screen. Guys, forward-looking statements, etc., etc., etc. And then again, they have the video on the right-hand side. So it has the same thing, same setup. You have a video breaking everything down.
Because you know the team, you know the people, long experience, and I have seen a lot of familiar faces here. Navios Maritime Containers will be listed in the NASDAQ after the IPO. We are a clean platform in the container segment with 31 vessels. These are vessels we bought on the bottom of the market, and we have built that in the last 1 year. What we have done is we identify in the middle of the crisis of the container segment a segment with great opportunity. The 4,200 TEU vessel, this is a vessel that used to be for the Panama Canal, the old Panama Canal, and people thought that the new Panama Canal came will have no use for this vessel.
All right, thank you very much. Ma'am. Next. Well, you can see that. I mean, it has to be something that really stirs your emotion and gets you going. So I'm not seeing anything here. SurveyMonkey. I've heard of that. I've used that, and that's an internet, let's say, survey thing. It's just, that might actually have some follow through. I don't know. I mean, SurveyMonkey. It's an internet stock. A lot of people do know it. I used to try to use it a little.
I started the first version of SurveyMonkey back in 1999. I was looking for an online tool to collect feedback, but I couldn't find one that was easy to use. I just built every tool that I'd want to use. And it grew from there.
What do my customers want?
What are my competitors doing better? What do consumers think about my brand? How much will people pay for a new product? Why am I employees leaving?
Why is my new marketing campaign?
Isn't our company innovative?
Which product should I launch? How can I?
I don't want to look at people's faces. Pass. How dare you?
Tradeometer and Q oversold.
All right. This is an interesting looking one here. Immi Technologies, IPO. Let's take a look at it. Might as well, right? We're all here together. So a lot of these start off with just a video. It goes right to a video page.
Hello everyone, we're excited today to present to you the Wyoming IoT at Home story. The key agenda will include our vision, the market opportunity, our investment highlights, growth strategies, key takeaways, and finally a financial overview. Let's jump straight into our vision. Our vision for the future home is a smart and connected one. In the past, traditional appliances were very much singular functional devices with one purpose: Today, some products are smart, but they are still isolated and do not necessarily interact with each other. In the future, we believe the home will be a holistic IoT at home platform, providing a smart, interconnected user experience.
Love the idea.
Our goal is to become a household user company.
Do they have a product?
Home appliances is the most natural and highly attractive entry point into the consumer home to capture. Our product portfolio currently spans over 40 product lines, covering the kitchen, living room, bedroom, and bathroom scenarios, providing integrated solutions and numerous monetization opportunities.
What goes on in the bathroom?
Next, let's talk about the market opportunity. We are seeing a clear industry trend.
I have no idea what they do, but
competition for customer traffic.
I wonder what their financials are.
We expect to see a natural shift towards competition for scenarios.
I could do this the same
thing. 24 hours you have in a day. Home is clearly where consumers are. Let's move on to our key investment highlights. Shown here are some of our key investment highlights.
Doesn't tell me much about this company.
Highly scalable business model, our aspirational brand, the Rack. Here you can see three Chinese letters, Wu, Lian, and Wang, which translates collectively into IoT. We think about IoT in these three distinct yet related aspects. Wu is the product, Lian. This page shows an illustration of the powerful snowball effect that a water purifier creates. As we continue to sell more water purifiers, our cumulative household use...
All right, well, I'm sorry, Xeron. Yeah, it was boring. See? Very boring. I apologize. But I wanted to get that point across, that there's a good site out here that really, if you do want to do your research on things like that, you can. There's one last here. I just want to see when it's going to be IPO, company presentation. Let me just look fast here. They're coming out, I think, tomorrow also. I think these are all this week. And then, I don't know if you can go to the thing, but offering summary.
The mission slide for this company, or the mission statement for this company, is to become the world leader in developing better and safer antibody-based pediatric oncology products addressing clear unmet medical needs. As Tanya shortly addressed also, this company is based by the fact that Thomas, our founder, had the unfortunate experience in 2000.
All right, well, there it is. You see the stuff there. All right, that site is called Retail Roadshow. Retail Roadshow. For a second, I have to do my own research. Again, we have the NIO on the screen here. That closed. If you're just tuning in, this is one of those Chinese. That's a Chinese electric car maker, and how it closed. After later in the day, especially around 2 o'clock. Lots of times you'll get an IPO, and I want to go back and actually show you some other IPO calendars. Let me bring them up. And if you have one, please post them in your room. I'll bring them up too. Post it in the room. Another site that I use a lot is the NASDAQ upcoming IPO thing, and that's you just do a Google search, do IPO calendar, and it'll be one of the links. I'll post it in the room right now. Is the market dumping right now? Oh God, it just dumped. Hold on. I knew this was going to happen when I'm on the air. The world is going to end, and I'm going to be able to broadcast it. Well, Mr. Land's not going to come out, but I'll tell you what's going on. I have... Oh, man. So Cuomo handily defeats resistance challenger Cynthia Nixon as other far-left Democrats fall behind in early returns. The Democrats are getting crushed. Last I was mentioning here the IPO calendar on the NASDAQ, September upcoming IPOs, and they go again. You can see they I typically go in chronological order, and this looks like it's starting for let's see here. Yeah, next week, 25th, 21st, 21st, 21st. All right, so it's going this way. 14th. This is tomorrow. Let me September 14th, September 14th. There's the marine one, and then we have Quote out, IO something, Principal, Bank 7, Remora Royalties, Farfetch is on the 21st. So the next week, you'd actually see the next week. And again, they do it for the month. So there's Farfetch. I don't know what that is. Evenbright or Evenbright and Immi Technology down the road here. So there's a few out there we have to do some research on. I don't think we'll waste your time tonight and look that far out, but you could definitely. This is a good calendar, and I always use this calendar and then use the NASDAQ calendar. It's usually the one, a really good one. And then check out that retail roadshow one to really get the presentation, really get down deep. Make your own original, just make your own judgment. And if it does look good, you're going to start to hear some hype on it. So you don't want to get too involved. Simplicity is the best way of doing things. Make sure you have a good calendar. There's plenty of good calendars out there. Plenty of good calendars out there. Eventbrite. Is that Eventbrite? Oh, I spelled that right. I tell you, I put my reading glasses on. Now I can see it. Eventbrite lets you buy tickets online. Might have some buzz. StartEngine.com. No, I've never heard of that one. Eventbrite. New York Stock Exchange. And then Farfetch. I'm curious. Let's click on this and see what it does. Company contains historical records. IPO profile oh no, sorry, please visit. All right, never mind. All right, here we are. Farfetch exists for the love of fashion. We believe in empowering individuality. Our mission is to be globally technology platform for luxury fashion, connecting creators, curators, and consumers. Pass. NASDAQ, let's see here. Farfetch. Animal healthcare. Here's an animal healthcare one. Eventbrite, and then Immi Technologies, NASDAQ. It's a Chinese stock, and it's a biotech. Maybe not. Home platforms because of the ecosystem, innovative, enable smart home products. Did we go over this one? There's another one with home products, Chinese company. Anyway. Yeah, these are cash grabs too. Half of these IPOs won't be around in a couple of years. They just won't be. Like to look for these IPOs maybe a month to 3 months in. A month to 3 months in. And I use the Finviz to find that. So I go to finviz.com, go to the screener, go to the IPO, and just go to last month, last quarter. So we'll use the last quarter, and we'll click on it. And then from that point on, it's going to give you a list of stocks. We have a total of 97. And one thing we could do is just do, sometimes we'll leave it in alphabetical order. Sometimes I go to market cap and I put the biggest market cap down to the smallest market cap. I'll do that. Why not? Let's go to if you go all the way to the right, you'll see a tab over here for market cap. I'll move this over so you can see it. and click on that until the market cap turns big up on the top, and that way, you know, it's just I tend to focus on those stocks. All right, so now we have the highest market caps up there, and we have all these stocks. So what we're going to look now, what we're going to do is we're going to click on the chart tab here, chart tab, and it's going to break these down into charts. And I'm going to zoom out a little. Let's see if we can get 3 charts. Yeah, there we go. Get 3 type of charts here. I wonder if I zoom out, yeah, a little bit more so you can see it. So we have 3 charts across on the top. And visually, what this is typical of a good IPO. One that just pulls back and reverses, and when it takes off, it takes out those highs. It's really nice. So from that point on, you just do a visual scan. You find the one TLRY is just ripping higher. See, that was the first month, 30 days here. It kind of held on to the lows, rotated back up, and once it broke out, it was gone. So the last quarter. Let's break this. All right, we'll look at these. Then I want to break it down a little bit more. What do we see? Anything interesting here? I'm actually going to break it down to last month. So it's only been out a month. I think that's a little bit better. IPO. All right. BPR, FLMN is interesting. Leaf. I'm not seeing anything here that looks great. I would like to see something at this point where we're kind of pulled back a little, consolidating near the highs. Most of these are either broken out, and they're illiquid too. I mean, you have to have something that you could trade. There's nothing here that I see, and there's no good examples here. We go out to that last quarter again. Like that was PDD, TLRY. Let's take a look at the TLRY here. Yeah, oh my God. This thing's still ripping. Oh yeah, well, TL... Stupid Johnny. You know what that one is. It is live. Shogun, good evening. So yeah, so I'm just looking at that, and you know, sometimes you're not going to have anything set up. So it doesn't look like too much is set up. I mean, like I said, I blew the NIO. I did. I mean, even though we're making money off of it, I wish I was in it. You know, $9, $8. I would have held it right into the close. We would have been rocking and rolling. I'm glad a lot of people in the room did that, and we have a great team in the room too. So I appreciate that. You guys working together and Racer throwing a lot of news out there. Really mentioned a lot of these things. He's gone out of his way to really keep everyone informed on those links, and the other people out there do bringing the links to the room. I haven't, you know, I don't want to leave anybody out. So all right, so we had the NASDAQ calendar, we had the retail roadshow for our due diligence and really to look at the stock and get a presentation and get all the background. That's the best one. Yeah, let's take a look at the PDD. I didn't get back to the PDD here. Let's take a look at the PDD. P. Diddy, we'll call that one. Oh yeah, you know, definitely. I know it's funny because one didn't show up on my screen. I thought it was going to show up was that trucking stock. So let me take a look at why that's not showing up. But this does look good. pin. I can't even read what it does. I don't even know what that is. 20 to 29. Oh, that's PDD. I gotta look at it closer. I gotta write it down so we can look at it tomorrow. I hope RPM's feeling good. He's supposed to be on the air tomorrow. I don't know. He might not be on the air, so. But I'll be in the office with everyone. I'll definitely look at this. And then the other one was the USX. And got very, again, here's an IPO. Very close. I think this is a buy down here. Off of this pullback. The trucking stocks did pull back a little. JBHT. They did pull back. I think I don't know if they pulled back. There was some news out there, kind of. I think tomorrow we'll see what happens on these, but I'm definitely liking this USX because I think we start moving back up toward those highs. This thing could actually start to gain some momentum. It almost got to those highs. All right, so thank you. CBEDE says thefly.com has a good IPO calendar. Let me see if I can bring that up on the screen. Like I said, we got to keep on top of these, but I don't see too much out there for the rest of the month that really looks good. Maybe that one, that event ticket one, maybe. So this is the Fly Syndicate. He posted in the room this week's upcoming IPOs and secondary offerings. I never trade off of secondaries now. I always do the IPOs. Let's see. Thursday, there's those two. $160 million shares at $6. Wow. 160 million shares. That's a big IPO. 160 million shares. Price at $6 and it's trading at what do we got it at now? Oh my God. Just give me my 17 and let me get out, please. Take a look at that. XPO. I like trucking logistics. XPO. That looks great. I have to write this one down. That really looks good. Let me read into this one a little. Looks really nice. Thank you for sharing that. All right, let me put that one in the browser. This is startingengine.com. Things that make you. All right, what's this? I have all kinds of pop-ups here. It's a scam site. Holy crap! What the hell, man? It's like I got all kinds of pop-ups coming out of this. Not cool. Current offerings. All right. So I see what you're looking at here. It doesn't look that bad. I mean, has current offerings. I don't know, raised time. I have to look at this, but this is pre-IPO. This is secondary, in the secondary market before IPO. Few offerings. Yoga Body Studios. The offering, perks. So that's almost like a GoFundMe for it. That's interesting. I have to look into it more. You know, they have these companies that this is interesting. I want to bookmark it. And when my dogs are not dying, I might look at that. There it is. There's your Tradeometer trade. Crowdfunding. Yeah, that's what it is. Crowdfunding. That's what day trading radio should do. There's actually some Chinese news that's crossing the wire right now. China's industrial output here, 6.1% year to year versus 6 on the estimates. Chinese retail sales, 9% year to year estimates was 8.8. 9% retail sales. Well, you know what? I ask myself sometimes, does this happen for a reason? Or has it happened because we're so on top of what a divergence means, and we're on top of a mathematical equation that really points out when we need to get in? I mean, it's amazing to see an aggressive move right after a divergence like this, and we point it out, and we see a big move. It's we look back at where we put in our circles and squares. You know, we put those in real time. You know, I put those in real time. Most of them are pretty much spot on. I mean, you just have to analyze the overall markets and make sure you have nothing working against you. But if you're looking for a trading opportunity, that Tradeometer, man, it just killed it. We're bringing this Tradeometer IPO. Crowdfund it. Let's crowdfund it. Everyone gets one. I'd like to have it automated, but we have to have it redesigned and stuff. You know, when I had it built, I had this thing built, and then when I bought it, I mean, when I built it, to cut back on the cost, I partnered up with the builder, and then I ended up buying it. So I had to rebought it back. And now I'm glad I did, but it works so good. It's just about getting it out there. It works perfect. It's an amazing, helpful indicator. It doesn't, remember, it's not artificial intelligence, not learning. It's reacting. It's telling us what the mathematical equations that happen here work out all the time, unless there's some kind of news or if there's a strong trend in the market. Strong trends in the market are sometimes hard to deal with. There's a seller in the market, there's a buyer in the market. Market trends higher. There's just a reason, and eventually it will trigger. But lots of times we've put safeguards into that, so it shuts down when there's a strong trend in the market. It doesn't give you that many false readings. But they're easy enough too. As you get the experience, you learn how to distinguish a strong, choppy market where these are working great. And plus, I said the best setup in the market is a tradeometer setup combined with a divergence. This is exactly what we had right here. And I chickened out because I thought maybe the volume wasn't good. I don't know. You can help me with that, Xerex? Xerex? Automate this? Bring it public? That would be great. I mean, it is working good. Oh, we need to talk. Maybe email me. Get your thoughts. I don't even know what my thoughts are on it, you know. You find something that works, you love it. It's, you know, you look at it back, looks great. All right. Man, who's going to get up early tomorrow at 7 o'clock and be in the markets at NIO to sell this pre-market gap up? Don't forget to put, you know, if you have this NIO, you can set a market. You know, you should be able to on your platforms, if you have a good enough platform, is to trade pre-market, after-market, and put a limit order in, good to cancel, and try to capture a spike up in the morning. Now, of course, you know, I'm reading some of the chat boards. I'm not reading the chat boards. I'm watching the tweets go back on NIO. And, you know, there's so many people out there with $20 targets and stuff. Don't be, you know... I don't know. I couldn't tell you. You know, sometimes you get a hold of something, man. The Tilray, you know, the pot stocks recently, you could hold on to them. Huge gains. Huge. I mean, what happens if this electric car gets a little hype on it? They start talking pollution. They start talking next Tesla. Who knows where it could go? It could go to $20. But remember, $500 million loss last quarter. Was it, no, not what was it? 500 million? No, it wasn't 500. Well, I just looked at the financials on this. Why am I saying 500 million? That's a lot. Yeah, I have a little MMRD. I'm down on it, but I don't have enough to really matter. And I have some of this manga too, which is BS, crap stuff. I think the CSX, or not the CSX, the USX is going to be a trade down the road. I think the closer we get to that breakout IPO breakout level high, that this one could actually run. So this is pretty. You know, I pay attention to the trucks. You know, trading is my passion, man. So if you know, I know it's yours too. You know, if you're out there and you listen to the show and stuff, and I get tweets sometimes. Someone's saying, "Hey, look, I'm at a show. It's Funko's in there," and I'm like, "Oh, cool." You know, someone's looking at the Funko. Let's look at Funko. We haven't looked at Funko in a while, but you know, always looking for an opportunity. FNKO or Funko, it's pulled back. Nice pullback on this. I'm glad I didn't chase this and today, but I was like, wow, this thing. I tell you, I went to GameStop. No, I went to this geek store in the mall. It's kind of like, I think it was called Geek Out or something like that. And it had all the figurines and it had all this. It was like a Spencer's but for geeks. And they had walls and walls and walls of Funko figurines. And I was walking around checking it out. My son was with me, and I asked my son at the time. I said, because I asked them this before. I said, "Is anybody talking about these figurines, the Fortnite figurines? Are you?" I said, "Sorry, do you like these? You know, do you like them?" No. No one's talking about them. No, he knows them. But then I'm walking out of the place, and there's a couple, maybe 30 years old, 20, late 20s, 30s. A couple are buying like 6 of these. And they're and they're getting the limited edition, and they're signing up for the ones that are coming out that they're no longer, they have to sign up for to get on the waiting list on stuff. Oh, you got to get the gold edition or the star edition. Well, I'm trying to overhear what the hell is going on. I said, this guy's he's buying them like they're going out of style. They're not even, there's a huge, and I'm overhearing this guy, and it's like there's a huge demand, and there's a big, they don't have enough orders. You have to get online. These are sold out for, whatever, and everything's sold out. And I'm thinking Christmas is coming up. This could be huge. And, and it did move. Look where it went from. It went from $19 to $30. It almost doubled in a month. So now it's pulled back a little. Man, if it could pull back a little bit more, I'd take a shot on this. And you know what? Stochastics are pulling back here, and this Christmas season's coming up. Think Geek. Was it? M&M. That's it, buddy. Think Geek, I think it was. And talking about, trading attitude and mental too. I was, who was I talking to today? Why is my mind shot here? My father-in-law. I had to call him to give him an update on Veru. He was freaking out the other day. He was freaking out. So I had to call him up and tell him everything was good on Veru. Let's take a look at that Veru chart anyway. So look at that. It's holding that underlying trend line. It's amazing how we could hold technical levels and holding that 200 period moving average. We bust out tomorrow out of a 2-day high. This thing is going. Holy crap. I hope so. Still some pressure on it today, but they might be wearing that. There's someone definitely buying the shares here. Someone buying the shares up here. Up to 182 after hours. But, that big candlestick reversal, and then today I tried to sell it, came back. It's holding its own. Overall, the divergence is there. So I see good things coming down the road on this. But anyway, I had to call him up, and he goes, he talked about, I got Courtney another Yeti cup. He goes, these Yeti cups are amazing. And then my wife shows me these cups she got. We were at the pool a couple weeks ago or something like that. And she had these cups, and she was showing them off. You didn't show me those, I said. There's Yeti cups? Yeah, they're wine glasses, unbreakable. I think they cost her $20 a piece, $25, I thought she said. I said, those two glasses, I said, that's $50? I said, so Bill, my father-in-law, told me he bought some more of those. He goes, they're all over the place. I'm thinking, Yeti. Is it public? Who owns it? Let's do some research. So, what is, anybody know? What the hell's going on with Yeti? There's another, it's a lead. That's a lead. I don't think they're public. I would know that. But I think they're owned by someone. Yeti coolers, right? Let's take a look. Yeti.com. And this is what you have to do.
Tradeometer ES overbought.
You gotta do your research. You can find some greatness in these things. Yeti, celebrating 10 years, Tundra. Learn custom. So right now you can see there's no investor corporate sales, corporate coolers, drinkware, NASCAR coolers. Store locations, film tour. Has not. Does it? Follow us. Yeti Nation. FAQ. Help. Doesn't give me anything. So it's just you know what? I wouldn't be surprised this coming to IPO. I wouldn't be surprised. Founded it with a simple mission: build the cooler you'd use every day. So my father-in-law says, these coolers are $300. How do you buy a cooler for $300? I mean, I looked at the same thing. I see these in Dick's. I looked at it. I said, wow, that's a cool-looking cooler. It looks great. It has a big cover on it. It has straps. It's a manly cooler. Cool, man. $300. I said, this thing, it doesn't hold anything. It's as big as the ice. I have a, what do you call it? Good old igloo. I got my dad's igloo. Holds more beer than a Yeti cooler for $300. I said, oh. It's owned by Putin. Anyway, I guess we got to do our work here. Let me put my reading glasses on. This is low. All right, here. A simple mission: build coolers they use every day if existed. One was built for the serious outdoor enthusiasts rather than the mass discount retailer. One that could take the abuse we knew it would be put through in the field and on the water. One that simply wouldn't break. We decided early on that the product innovation would come from necessity and first-hand experience, not from market research and data analysis. Today's Yeti products perform when it matters most, whenever there would be an excursion into the remote Alaskan wilderness, chasing redfish on the Gulf Coast, and getting together with friends in the backyard. Yeah. Did I just read that? Pretty good. Not bad, huh, Johnny? I could do that. Well, I'm hiring myself out. Pay $300 and fit a six-pack in the keep a six-pack cold for $300. Who puts them out? I don't know anything about it, and I refuse to buy it. Like I refuse to buy anything that has a designer name and they jack up the price. I don't know how many people have goose jackets, Canadian goose jackets. Yeah. That's what my father-in-law said. He goes, they keep things cold. I kicked the plug out of the mic before. You can buy a generator for the price of a Yeti. Keep the refrigerator going. All right, what else do we have? Yeah, what time is it? Should I wake him up? 10:30, 10:20. You think he's up? Or you think he's sleeping? He's probably sleeping. He's sick. Let me see what I got. Some checks coming in here. I mean, chats. Boca says PDD said to be the fastest growing internet company. It's subscription for Fly. What's PDD? Fastest growing prescription company? Or subscription company? Internet company. PDD. Pindua. So what is it? Could someone explain to me what PDD is? That's the IPO. That's the IP. I mean, the chart actually looks great. I mean, this thing could really rock it. So we need, let's go back to this PDD and take a little analysis on it. Out of all the IPOs we looked at, other than the one we're in now, the NIO, this PDD looks good. Take care. Sell some. Good night. Thanks for hanging out. Dawit, no, I had to kick him out. He wouldn't leave, too. I had to ask him to leave 3 times. Because I wanted to take a nap, and I didn't want him to sit next. I don't know. I don't want to sleep on my couch with him sitting next to me. I can't. 111. All right. So let's take a look at this PDD, and let's test out our. Let's test this out. Let's go to our retail roadshow. Retail roadshow. Well, where is it? .com. Hopefully that works. That's not working. Retail roadshows. Presentation. Oh, here it is. All right. All right. Let's see if we can actually find. Filter by underwriter. No. Filter by. How do we do a search on this? That's the only problem I don't have. How to search. Yeah, you know what? I'd be yelling at these people because they don't have a good search site on this. If I want to do research and find out, can anybody find that and send me the link? I cannot see where there's a search engine on this to go and look at the PDD. What's the name of the PDD? What is his name? Poo-doo-doo-doo? Something like that? Have no search engine on here. It's a pull down. Just talks about the IPO, who's offering it. Over 2,000 IPOs, including all of these. But how do you click on them? PDD is based in Shanghai, China. All right, let me try this. PDD, retail, roadshow, IPO. Let's see if it gives me. Here's IPO boutique. All right, they're in an innovative and fast-growing new e-commerce platform that provides buyers with value for the money merchandise and fun and interactive shopping experiences. 85 million shares, 16 to 19 on the right of Credit Suisse, Goldman. Link to prospectus, Retail Roadshow. All right, link to the Retail Roadshow. So you know these two sites are good because there it is. It's a link right to the Roadshow. So that's a good site to have. And God, look at this. They have nothing. They have no this is their Roadshow. This is their form. S1 form. You guys that lazy? I don't even know what that is. Hold on. They're pin do mobile platform confirmed the state election financials. All right. I mean, what are you gonna do? I don't know. I wish I had a video on it. It says link to Retail Roadshow, but the link brings me right to this weird. I don't even know if this is it. Rubius Therapeutics. It doesn't even give me that. It's going. It doesn't even have a right link to it. It's all wrong. Yeah, but it says it's a therapeutic, some kind of drug company. See, I don't know much about it. I'm going with the electric car. Going with the electric car, and then we're going to follow up with some of the good setups here. All right. That PDD does look interesting. I mean, when we look back at this and we zoom out, this could be a small little bottom, and this can be $50 and down the road. These are the stocks I mentioned today as long-term holds. Team. All right. I think that's a double next year, by the next year. Coop. Innovative, all new stuff, data management. These are the new stocks. This is a new crew. These are the new greatness. Look at them. The market doesn't lie. Data, DATA. This stuff right here is IRA material. Coop, Team, Data, DocuSign, DOCU. Not as much. I'm still saying that they could have some competition, but Square, I'd throw Square in there. Square looks great. Oh, hold on. I'll copy that. So those are the long-term holds. We have some ones that I think are going to just start to rocket now. The PKG, it's coming out of kind of an inverted. It started giving us a higher high. It's extended, That's the problem with that one. The Borg Warner BWA. Is it just ready to go? Starting to break out, starting to move back up, maybe. The SWK, we started taking more profits on this. Huge pop. I think we have a little further move to go tomorrow. We get up here towards the top part of that area, but I'd probably end up taking it off tomorrow, up around 148 to 149. SWK off the lower trend line, perfect trade. So I like all those. I am short to IMAX, and it's not working out, but that was a cheap short on the puts, and I still have plenty of time. But I'm just looking at this overall pattern down here, and I just think that cutting the cord and stuff like that, the price, I don't know. I was taking a gamble on this one. Procter Gamble, look how it pulled back to this trend line and pushed right back up. PG, beautiful downward channel. What else? FMC, nice trend line bounce. Probably retracing a little further move up to see. I have to see how we are in that. I have everything shut down now. I can't refer back to where I'm at on this right now. But that lower trend line was a good one to pick up. That's what we call a trapdoor trend line. Trapdoor trend line. Rising trend line, break down to a lower trend line, trapdoor. Apple, we ended up killing Apple. Well, I mean, we traded Apple right to the highs today. Got in and got out right here. Yes, sir. 1204. You know it. And that's where it is now. Still like it. But did the right thing. It moved up pretty fast, so we had a nice profit on that. So I took it off. But I like the Apple. I like it. I think it continues tomorrow. I think we have to trade this one tomorrow. Apple. Is there any reason why Apple's going to go down with that phone and that watch on deck? You know? No reason for it to go down. All right, let's take a look at that video of the Chinese electric car. China's NIO may be facing the same issues as Tesla. Of course they're going to say, they're going to, who cares? Who cares? We'll be out of this, and I'll be out of this tomorrow. Anybody care about this stock other than Claudia? Analysts at Bernstein NIO stock the equivalent to a sell. Their equivalent of a sell rated as a sell may be to intrigue them about the karma. They're unconvinced NIO share represent a sound investment. Of course not. They set a price target of 420. Sounds like Elon Musk, which represent a 56% downside on Thursday's price, and it probably is a great short. That's why I think you need to be up. I think you need to be up early tomorrow, and you need to be taking this off on any type of gap up. I honestly, personal opinion, I hope you don't do that. I hope, if you do that, it doesn't run and you come back saying I left a lot on the table. I don't know where it's going, but I think I almost took it off today after hours. I might have taken it off at $14 if we gotten up there. I put an order in for tomorrow morning, but who knows what we're going to get. Sold 17,000 cars. I mean, they do have a product, so I think it's going to gap up tomorrow. I didn't sell it. Oh, I did put in the. I did send out a note talking about the after-hour trade. So for the members out there, I did send out a note saying that this stock is trading higher after hours, and just be aware that you should consider watching it tomorrow morning bright and early, because it should gap up, but by the time you wake up and get to the market, it might be 8:30, 9 o'clock. The thing opens up and is trading around 6:30, 7 o'clock, and it's gapped up to who knows. It could drift at that point. That's where the trade is. That's where the sellers are going to come in. They're going to be cashing out at 7 o'clock until I sell it, and then it'll rocket. So, depends. Right, Z-Rex? Maybe this thing goes to 20. I hope so. Hope it gaps above $17. What time is it? 35. I think we're going to wrap it up here soon. $130. I don't know. You never know, right? Maybe there is something. Chinese need cars that don't pollute the air. This is probably the first. What makes this company halfway legitimate is that the government is promoting this company in a big way. Definitely giving it tax breaks. Yeah, they're behind it in a big way. So that you have that going for it. You definitely have that going for it. So that makes it, maybe it is a $30 stock down the road, quickly. Maybe I should cancel my sell order. Bang my head.
Tradeometer and Q overbought.
Wow.
Tradeometer ES overbought.
There we go, all three of them. Triggering right here. Let's go to the videotape. Look at that. So, let's see. I mean, our last sell signals have been spot on pretty much on the NQ, on the even that little pullback. This is not bad. You always get back in. That's right, Sam. You know what? You always can get back in. I'm glad that we have to make these hard decisions to take in profits. That's actually a good thing. Now, Google, kind of under the radar. I haven't traded Google in a while. GOOG. And it's actually pulled back quite a bit. It's not a bad pullback on Google. It's oversold. So we like that. Yeah, let the rest run. I mean, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Support area right there. Right on that, right underneath that support area. It's a 4 or 5 day consolidation here. So, to watch that potential breakout here. To be, I want to write this down at 180 level. Big stock like this, you get through that 180 level, it could run. It actually probably will run. I'm just curious. Let's see what the option chain looks like on this going out. 1 day remain. Let's go out to next week, September 21st. And the 175s, 1,175s at $14. Yeah. Kind of expensive. But, you know what? It's not $1,000 stock. But it is over that 10 spot. I like that 180, $11 one. You know what? This is not that bad. 8 days, 1150, the 180. That's the breakout. This could also be a divergence setup. If it pushes a little bit higher and then drops out, it gives us a lower trendline divergence. Anybody want to go over any stocks before I call it a night? If you want to go over any stocks, it's time to bring them up right now. I actually have a couple. I don't think I ran through all these. This is my comments. Let's take a look at my potential divergence setups. Let me go through these fast. I did mention the Occidental Petroleum, the PSX. Buffett's starting to scale out of that. But Buffett and Apple too, so that puts a big plus on Apple. Starting to scale out. And so the JP Morgan, we started our position this week on that. I'm in that. Fitbit, don't like it with the new iPhone, iWatch. I think it's a short. PNC, no interest. Bank of America, no, showing some weakness today. How many stocks do I have on this? It's 22. Zion, a lot of bank stocks oversold. A lot of bank stocks. WFC here. Wells. Wait, is that? Yeah, is that WFC? Wells Fargo. It is WFC. That actually selling off pretty hard. Not a big. They don't look that great. I'm not saying that we're on to something here. We did catch a bounce on Goldman. Seeing a little volume came in, but that's about it. Invesco here. Is there a divergence? No. Key Bank? No. Yeah, these got smashed. Kroger got smashed today. Not interested. Occidental, there's the Oxy. AMPE. Is he in that one? I have to remember. AMPE.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Oh yeah, let me write that down for him for tomorrow. I think he's going fishing in the morning. I might not even. He'll call me from the boat. I'll put him on the air. Villager, you mentioned something about choppy stochastics before. I saw that in the room. I never followed up on it. You mean up here? Well, the more it hangs up at the top range, the more bullish it is. This was the key right here, is the Tradeometer stochastic divergence and the Tradeometer signal. That was the big move right there. And you can see it actually was, and then earlier today, there was a fantastic setup. Right now, one of my favorite divergence setups is a divergence setup that we find on the 60-10. If you actually get a 60-10 divergence like we had here, this was Wednesday. This was huge. 60-10 divergence. I think that was the one. I took that trade. We did well on that. And then we got one today, I think. Did I do it yesterday or today? Yeah. Let me take a look at today. I thought we had a 60-10 today. Maybe I didn't. No, I traded this morning. I got 200 on something. Maybe it was here. Because it was it was actually looking like a divergence here. You actually have that higher low on that 60-10 and the 44, and you have a double bottom. So you did have that divergence right here, and that was at 2 in the morning. No, that wasn't it. That was 2 in the morning. Jesus, you have a nice divergence at 2 in the morning. It's another time you want to make money in the markets. Get up at 2 in the morning and trade from 2 to 4. You get the European Open. You have a lot of activity right around that 3 o'clock level. That's where you start to see divergences show up. 3 o'clock level, 2 o'clock, 2:30. You get a divergence. You have a good chance of a move. So I mean, if you got to get a trade in here, don't spend your time between 12 o'clock or 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock standing in front of the computer. Show up at the computer, get set up. 2:30 going to 3 o'clock. You should start if you're trending down, then look for a reversal divergence coming into that European close, and you're going to get a lot of times that's where you're going to find them. You're going to find those divergences around the European Open, and then you could actually probably spot some other ones. But this is this was the divergence here, I believe, right here. There was a double bottom divergence and trend line break and a much higher, you can see the space between that 60-10 from here to here and the double bottom with that candlestick taking out the previous low here. You can see that candle right there coming right in here. So it took out that low right here, giving us a slight divergence but a much higher low, and that was the key. That was the key for a nice move up. And then from that point on, we had a tradeometer set up there for, I paid attention to that. The after hours trade has been good. We just came out of a divergence. Another perfect tradeometer signal. This is where we are right now. Let's take a look at the ABBV. It is due, and I want to take a look at Mondelez also. ABBV, nice pop, nice divergence. Whoa, hold on. This is key. This is a steep divergence. very steep divergence. The divergence angle between the low and the higher low, this line represents the steepness. You can have a divergence that's only like that level, or you can have a higher, steeper divergence like that, even a real steep one that doesn't even move and show up. So this is a pretty steep divergence, probably a 45 degree angle, with a kind of a double bottom, closing bottom, and a big pop and a big candle, and a long consolidation. Now this is a excuse me, my throat is. We go back on this. This came public in 2000. It was actually a spin-off of. I always forget. It was a spin-off of another drug company, and they tend to work out really good when you have a spin-off. And it moved up, and it's since pulled back. Now, that's the weekly. The weekly actually is starting to roll over, but trying to turn back up. This is the ABBV. Well, we're going to get to the other one too. So I do like this tomorrow. Recent highs up here at 105, and it's trading at 96. You have a nice divergence. I'm going to write it down, ABBV. I need a Coke. ABBV. All right, let's take a look at the Mondelez, MDLZ. It's another spin-off, Mondelez. I think that's a spin-off of Kraft, right? I forget. This thing has been a huge, let's go out on a weekly, a huge consolidation here. I mean, we are definitely due for a move back up, and crossing back up and putting in a higher low out of a flag and holding that 20 definitely can mean something. Maybe if you had a divergence back in June as well. Let's take a look at that. I want to go back because whenever we have a failed divergence, I want to know why and if there is a true fail, because you don't see too many failed divergences. So let's go back to June, July. Oh, here. All right, yeah. It was a failed divergence. Now, how can we read into that? It had a nice little bounce, started rotating back up, took out the lows, started pushing back up at this point right here. You're starting to turn back up, and then probably, right, you're probably, looking pretty good at that point. How do you protect yourself from that, and why did it break down? What can we learn from that, and how do we prevent that in the future? The first thing is, once it turns back down, you have to consider it broken. Once it starts to turn back down, you have to consider it broken. So you might take a little loss on it, but you have to have the discipline to get out once it turns over. And I'd say that's one of the rules you need to really pay attention to. Failure, lots of times when you do have that failure, it's because you had a divergence, then you had a reversal divergence. Almost lots of times you'll get those reversal divergences where they'll push a little higher, but this will break down, and you'll have a divergence on top. The moving average there and the reversal candle was definitely, and just seeing that, but it's hard mentally. You want to give this thing as much space as you want. You want to believe in this every single time, but it is not the holy grail. It's closest thing you could get to the holy grail of trading, but it is not. You will have failures, and you don't know why. I don't know what happened at that point and caused it to sell off. But this is a nice divergence, and it doesn't happen too often. So, do we have any successful divergences in it? And would I risk it on the second divergence? I probably would. So I think this, because it failed once, I don't think it's going to fail again. And this is a little better divergence. So Maybe you look at it that way. Let's take on the Mondelez MDLZ. That does look good. Has some follow through, a series of higher. It gapped down and continued to run. So we're actually gapped down and breaking out. I like that a lot. Thank you. Thank you for bringing this one to my attention. And we look back here at 47, which is 4 points higher to get to that level. If it got back up to that level, 47, you know it's breaking out. I would say that would, yeah, I like this. I like it a lot. I've been in this multiple times. Here's a divergence back here. No movement in the stochastics. That's why it's so bullish. Super bullish divergence there. Super bullish divergence right there in a big rip. Flag, rip, pull back, pop, candle. I like it. So Racer's been doing great. All right, let's take a look at the options on this. So it's 43. I don't think we're going to have a problem getting out here. The question is this the spot? Is this the last opportunity before we break out? You know, does this cross back up holding, or is it going to be more of the same chop? So I want to get some time on this. We look out here. That is actually on the weekly chart too. So that's the weekly that's actually turning back up. Now if we look at the daily, it turned back up. It has a series of higher lows, which is typically very bullish, and it looks like we're about to break higher. There's the gap down is very important to me with the reversal, and then closing that gap and taking out the recent highs. That means that I think we're going higher. So the daily looks good. The weekly looks good. Let's take a look at this now. So if we're at 44, we could expect 47 as a target. I'm not going to go out of my way and say we're going to get there in October, mid-October, way back up here. Projection on this, how far it moves, and the time frame. We have to be realistic on these things. Probably better to be in the money on this. November, though, might be even better on this one. So let's take a look at the option chain on November. September. Oh, it just does have weeklies too, but I'm not going to do the weeklies. Why is it not giving me the monthlies on this? November weekly. December. Let me see why this is not. First of all, I want to break it down to just calls only. And then maybe it'll give it to me. No. It says November 2nd. It's not giving me any other ones. I don't know why. That's a weekly. Huh. And then in December, so we go out to December. Yeah, December 21st. You know, 43. This is super cheap. I like it. Yeah, I think December is the one we should be looking at, right? 43s are only $2. $2, and it's already at 43, and we're in the money, and we have all the way to December. Wow. It was up 13% today. All right, I'll have to write that one down. Mondelez, December's I'll look on my platform tomorrow at November's. It might even be cheaper. Because I think you have momentum here. So we want to be able to get the biggest. And it's not bad. The bid ask here, only a 4-cent spread there. 45s, it's a 4-cent spread. This looks good. I mean, just for a cheap run up, it's not going to be that exciting unless there's some news that comes out on it. I almost want to get a little closer in the time frame. I'm just surprised I didn't have. I don't know why my monthlies are not showing up on this. Unless it skips that. Maybe it's doing. I don't know why. Alright, I wrote it down. So good call. Alright. We'll take some of our profits from the NIO and just get into that. And we'll go out to maybe December or November and just hold it. Alright. Google. I think that's it. I think that's it for tonight. Let me shut down the video. It's a 2-hour video. Who's going to watch this? It's everything. All right, I want to put it out anyway. Stop.